So dear community, at this moment we invite the brothers and sisters to come up for chanting. And also I noticed some empty seats near the front. So we invite some of our friends, if you don't feel shy, you can fill up the front row just to be close.
Dear respected Thay, dear noble community, the Sangha is invited to sit upright and relax. Let us be present in the here and now. Tonight, the monastic will recite the name of the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. With our collective energy, we will send our peace energy along with the chanting. And we let the chanting go deeper in our body and mind. And with our collective energy, we can alleviate the suffering in ourselves and in the world. And this energy is also alleviating our Mother Earth, the suffering with the climate change is happening right now in the world. It's also offering peace and joy to your own species.
Uh, Hello. So now we would like to invite teenager. You can meet brother and sister outside, so they can lead you to the common room to have your own activity, and also children. Also, please meet brother and sister and staff also outside in front of the meditation hall, so you have your own activity. Teenagers, please. Please all stand up so we can welcome brothers to come for orientation, and then teenagers also meet staff and brothers and sisters outside at the Lotus Pond, so you can have your own activity, and also children also please. So now you hear one sound of the small bell. Please stand up. So please move up so you can fill up the cushion and the mat in front of brother Phap Khong, so he can feel not lonely. You, he will have your support. So please fill up in front of. Yeah, thank you.
Dear community, if any of us in here have trouble hearing or need some to hear better, please come back in this corner and we have amplifier for you, amplifier headphone for you.
Today is August 9, 2023, and we are at the Great Togetherness Meditation Hall at Blue Cliff Monastery. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's listen to three sounds of the bell. Dear Thay, dear Sangha, today is August the 9th, the year 2023, and we are at the Great Togetherness Meditation Hall at Blue Cliff Monastery. And we are glad to be able to do what we call a US tour. Normally, we do every 2 years with our teacher, and he encouraged to continue to do a big gathering like this. So it takes a lot of effort. For the last few days, we've been gathering the monastic from Deer Park Monastery, from Magnolia Grove Monastery, and of course from Blue Cliff Monastery. And we're getting to know the brother and sister a little bit more. We are about 88, 89 monastic, I think. Close to 90 monastic, I think. And we are glad that you can come to practice with us. We will have an English family retreat and also the Vietnamese speaking family retreat. And then after that, we move on to Magnolia Grove Monastery in Mississippi for 2 more retreats. Then we move to Deer Park Monastery for 3 more retreats. So we are pacing ourselves, and the organizer asked me to share with you about general orientation. And I didn't realize that actually I'm opening the US tour. So I'm the first to share at this retreat, and also for the whole US tour. So I prepared something, but my mind is blank. I think it's wonderful to be able to come together and create, sometimes we call the virtual Sangha, when we practice together, benefiting from the collective energy of mindfulness, concentration, and insight. And the key thing is really to be happy too. I think the title retreat is Happiness is Here and Now. Right? So we have stress, we have difficulty in our life. But then that doesn't prevent us from really to pull deep within ourselves the source of joy and happiness. So we don't have to wait until all the suffering are gone to be happy. That's the idea. I want to ask, because I saw some familiar face, but for those who come for the very first time to this retreat or to Plum Village retreat, can you raise your hand? Okay, so there's a fair amount, that's good. And I see many families have come for many years to our retreat, and we're very glad that you keep coming. And also this retreat is happy because we have a lot of children and a lot of teenage that come. We practice as a whole family, so that is great. Maybe I use the board, it's a lot easier. Push it here. So the idea is to witness happiness in the here and the now. And what helps us to be aware of that existing happiness that maybe we are not conscious of. We use what we call mindfulness. Concentration, and insight. So mindfulness is aware of what is going on inside of us and outside of us. And if we sustain mindfulness for a while, then it becomes concentration. And then if you practice mindfulness concentration for a while, sometimes we come up with some insight that help to realize maybe there's some element that give us suffering, that we can let go of the suffering. So to help that, we use our conscious breath. That bring body and mind together. Our body is here, but sometimes I might preoccupied by something from the past. I know for many of you, you drove, right? So it takes a long drive, 5 hours, 6 hours, even more. And then along the road, you have to think about the gas, all the things that you remember to bring to the retreat and so on. And then you have to take care of all the things at home so you be able to calm and be free from whatever responsibility you are at home. So that takes a lot of energy from the mind. So therefore, your body is here, but your mind is not yet here yet. You think about forget to feed the cat or something at home or something like that. So to me, you have to use the conscious breath to bring the mind back to the present moment, to put the body and mind together. So, for example, you say, breathing in, I'm aware of my body. Breathing out, I relax my body. And with that, the mind pulling back together to the body and be in one unit. So we can be really fully present in the here and the now. So that is very important to do that. And then we slowly dissipate the remaining stress, trauma, and suffering. So I think to me, we have many goodwill, wonderful people come together to help us to remind that practice of being fully present in the here and the now, and using our conscious breath. So sometimes to help us, we use the bell of mindfulness. And whenever we hear the sound of the bell, we stop our thinking, we stop what are we doing, and we go back to our breath. and we bring our mind back to the body together, and we relax. We just find out what's happening inside of us, and also what's happening outside of us. So when you hear the sound of the bell, we stop and we listen. They say, "Listen, listen. This wonderful bell bring back to my true self." So during that time, we allow ourselves 3 deep breaths. Maybe we can try it ourselves. Listen to 3 sound of bell. Yeah. And just follow our breathing, and don't think about anything. Just relax it. Just listen to the bell. So during the time we listen to the bell, we stop the thinking, because often our mind think a lot. Thay often say they call the radio of non-stop thinking. Sometimes we use the bell or some other reminder to stop thinking for a little while. So to me, sometimes I equate like a wagon or train. So sometimes you start one thought, like they call the locomotive or the motor, and then you have a second wagon, a third wagon, thing like that. So for example, you can say, it's a beautiful cat, and I wonder whether it has an owner, maybe a stray cat. Oh, that reminds my cat at home, thing like that. So at time when I think about like that, I just say, cut it. I'm just here at the present moment. I'm not going to worry about my cat at home. And then we start with another train of thought, and we have wagon that's attached itself. And at one time you have used the mindfulness, you can cut it and say, okay, I don't need to think too much about it. I just be here and enjoy the present moment. So throughout the retreat, you will hear the sound of the bell often. Sometimes it could be activity bell, sometimes it could be the meditation hall bell, sometimes it could be the dining hall bell, or the clock chime. Sometimes you hear the clock chime, and also the sound of the phone ringing. So incidentally, I think it's good to maybe you put your phone on silent mode, so at least we don't hear sound of ringing all over the retreat. So that will stop everybody from doing their things all over the retreat. So that will be helpful to do that. And the other part is we call noble silence. There are officially time for being in noble silence. That means from 9:30 in the evening until after you finish eating breakfast and you wash your bowl. So that's a good time for us to relax and allow the body and mind to rest for a peaceful evening. So sometimes you have roommate, okay, just be aware that you can turn off the light at a certain hour and also to go into the noble silence mode. And then if you need to do something, just go outside the room. Maybe you need to make a phone call or something. But try not to linger on too much, because you are on vacation. So I think you can put some kind of message that I'm on vacation, I'm at the retreat, I will get back to you later. I will not be able to answer you. So at least you don't have to worry about the time when you spend here. And going forward, I think it's possible to be in noble silence for most of the time. That means you refrain from excessive talking, and you allow yourself some resting time. Just observe. I think there are beautiful scenery here. You notice them. We have a long lotus pond and the tea house in the back of meditation hall. Of course, we have a beautiful lotus pond right in front of the meditation hall. And we have a lot of fruit trees, and many wonderful scenery for you to enjoy. Sometimes there are some friends we haven't seen for a while, so we like to talk to them, but also be gentle with yourself a little bit, because sometimes if you keep talking to one after another, then all your resting time will not be resting. So sometimes that noble silence, it can be beneficial if we can apply them on a regular basis. That whenever you need to talk, yeah, please do so. But we don't have to talk all the time, And so when you have the body and mind together and have a conscious breathing, then we can have a conscious step that bring it to walking meditation. So being mindful, you can have at least 4 positions. You can have a standing meditation, just standing and breathing. You can have walking meditation, which means we be aware of the sole of our feet touching the earth. And we can coordinate with our breathing. There will be time to do a slow walking meditation in a meditation hall. There can be regular walking meditation outside on the pathwalk. And sometimes, if we're familiar with what we call fast walking meditation, sometimes I do exercise, I do fast walking meditation, and you can do jogging meditation as well. But usually at the beginning, it's good to slow down a little bit and just be aware of every step. So the idea is to have one style of walking we call mindful walking. So whether we go to get a cup of tea or we go to get something, we always practice walking. Thank you. I think it's quite hot. Thank you. So one important thing is also when you walk, let us refrain from talking when we walk. Often we set our goal of something and we run after that. And we forget at every moment that we have. Let's say we need to do something there. So often you set a goal and you just run. You forgot about what your step. So I think we should have a dignity to take our time to walk and enjoy every step. To me, that is life. I think often, sometime in business, they say time is money. I think for us, time is life. Time is living. So to me, we should enjoy our life at every present moment. And that goes for any position, whether it's walking, standing, and of course, sitting meditation. There will be a time when we can come to our meditation to sit in a group. And I think to me, depend on the type of people or legs or knees. I think 80% of people choose the wrong cushion to sit. I think many of cushions are very hard. They're fully packed, and they're very nice for sitting, for taking picture. But I think when you sit more than 20 minutes or 30 minutes, it hurts. It talks back to you. And I see many friends sitting, and they just slide off the cushion because they couldn't sit on the cushion. It's so hard. You can see my cushion. I use one of the very soft. You can see it bend. So, and it is a little bit low, but I think you can see it provides a support on the back, but it doesn't hinder the inner thigh. Because often people who sit for a while, the inner thigh circulation got cut off, and you have arch in the legs. So I think to me it's very important to choose the right cushion and to arch the lower back a little bit so your body is straight up when you sit. And just to relax and have a 3-point sitting. Hopefully, we can have some guided sessions to show people how to sit properly, because it's very important to have a comfortable posture so you can enjoy the sitting. I can see that he's sliding off the cushion because the cushion is so high and strong. And you can see a lot of, by take a look at the cushion, you can see that I think somebody very light, that's no problem. But a lot of people have some problem of standing on a cushion for so long. So that's very important. And the other one, of course, to stop the mind from thinking. And that's what we've been doing with a conscious breath. So the conscious breath, I think is very important. And you could say conscious step here too. Have you heard about there was an anecdote with Thay. There was a high venerable nun in Hanoi, in Vietnam. She loved Thay teaching so much. And she asked her temple to build a stupa to contain Thay ash when he passed away. And when he heard that, he said, well, thank you, but I don't think I want to be imprisoned in the ash urn inside the stupor. I refuse to be limited to that stupor after I pass away. So he said that, why don't you put a sign inside the stupor that say, inside there is nothing. And if people don't really understand, put aside outside, outside there is nothing too. And if people still don't understand, then you can put a sign, if there is something, you can meet me at your conscious breath and your conscious steps. So what he was saying is that I give you the teaching of how to be aware of your breath and how to be aware of your step. And you are my continuation, and you will meet me there. And I thought it was a joke, but actually there is a friend, monk, who visited the temple. And he went there and he took the picture. And he shows, I can see it, so it's real. So to me, that conscious step and conscious breath is always available to us. It's just we do have a willingness to practice or not. And also, we practice what we call appropriate mindfulness, or sometimes we call right mindfulness, right concentration, and right insight. Because there's a lot of teaching in the Word about mindfulness, how you can apply it. I heard in the military, they teach the sniper to be mindful of their breath, so they can know when to pull the trigger and, the role of the sniper to kill somebody. So to me, to have that mindfulness and concentration, to kill another person, that's not the right mindfulness. So that there is a wrong mindfulness and a wrong concentration. And the same thing with insight. Recently, I hear that I got a lot of email because I work for the registration office, and there was a lot of, we call spam mail, something like that. And the advertiser now come up with some kind of catchy headline. They create like a diversion, something not real, but shocking, just to catch the people's attention so people will open the mail to read what's going on. And I think that to me, that's the wrong insight, to try to lure somebody to do something like that. For the purpose, what, you want to sell chewing gum? Who cares? But that's what they do all the time. So we need to be very aware of these things. And of course, during the time, we also get the chance to do walking meditation. So usually, since we are so many people here, we break people into a smaller group we call working families. And you have a leader of the group who guide you to the task of doing your service during this retreat. And you have several leaders as well. So the idea to be mindful, because often when we have responsibility, we worry, we hurry a lot. We want to accomplish the task so we can go do something else. But I think the idea is to enjoy the service, to enjoy the working, to think about what we do. Like, for example, we're going to eat a lot, so actually we need to go to the bathroom a lot. So sometimes people are assigned to a toilet duty or trash recycling. And often this is some task which will say, well, that's not for me, you know. But I think to me, if you can go beyond that to offer the kindness, the service to the whole community. So when your turn to offer the service, you can find joy and happiness in helping other people. So to me, we rely on each other to accomplish the task. So it's not like a single task for individual, but for the whole family. So to me, it's very good to have a situational awareness, to know what your teammate is doing. When we do cooking to the brother sister, as a sixth of a brother sister in the kitchen, and often when I help in the kitchen, I look around to see what the other cooking partner were doing. So I can see what's going on. I can see when I need to help, when I don't need to help, when I don't need to be in their way of doing something. So to me, when we work together as a group like that, we watch each other, we see what the progress of the work, and we come in, we help with each other. So that we call mindful working. And then I think the last probably is Dharma sharing. So we gather in different groups, and at the appropriate time, we gather and share with each other in a more intimate way, so we can get to know each other. Because sometimes with 300 people, it's kind of hard to know everybody, you know. And there will be instruction at the Dharma sharing. We have a Dharma sharing leader too, so you can practice deep listening and loving speech. I think there's another thing I want to mention to you too is we practice through the conscious breath to stopping. And deep looking. So during the time of noble silence and being conscious of the breath, we practice stopping our thinking, stopping our habit energy, so we can see clearly what's happening inside of us. We inherit from the society, from our parents, our ancestors, a lot of habit energy. Some habit energy are good, but some are not so beneficial. Like rushing, anxiety, fear, anger, jealousy, hate, all kind of things like that. So to me, during the time of we go back to our breath and bring body and mind together in the protected environment, we can really practice stopping, thinking, calculating, cogitating, so we can have a deeper look into our mind, into our body. And so slowly we learn how to embrace those negative habit energy and to transform them. And sometimes we can share at the Dharma Share group. For those who are new, you can ask questions, and there will be instruction on how to share properly. And one also important thing, we practice the 5 mindfulness training. Those are the guidelines that show us how to concretely practice mindfulness. They call the 5 mindfulness training. There will be a presentation, so somebody will share with you about that. But I think that a concrete expression of how we can practice mindfulness and concentration inside. About eating meditation, that's another. You can see everything we do is meditation. And concretely, when the bell is inviting for the meal, and you be asked to walk mindfully to the place where you receive your meal. And we did have a dinner tonight. Because of large, we have a lot of line outside, so just be mindful that there are maybe 1 or 2 lines inside, but most of the line are outside. The same thing with washing dishes meditation is also a lot of line outside. So we have 3 meals. For breakfast and dinner is more free flow. Mind you, I think when you stay in line to get the food, practice meditation. Like don't talk too much during the time when you are about to receive the food. There is what we call a 5 contemplation of to be fully there for the food, for all the people who work hard to prepare the food for us, and to sit. And sometimes there are different dining halls. So there are one in the big tent, there are inside a small dining hall, and also in front of the magnolia tree. I think there might be a second meditation hall, sitting hall in the back of the building. You can recite yourself the 5 contemplation, and you can start eating for breakfast and for dinner. For lunch, you can sit, but wait, don't eat right away. And there will be 3 sound the bell being invited, and there will somebody will recite the 5 contemplation together. And then after that, we can start eating together. So during the time of eating, about 20 minutes, if you can really be fully with the food, and don't stand up. And wait until you hear 2 sound the bell before you can stand up. Because a lot of time, the 200, 300 people sitting up and down, it creates a lot of chaos, things like that. So you can respect the collective energy while we are eating. And the most important thing is to chew the food, but not to chew your thought, not to choose the thinking. And I think we can, the more we chew, the better, to a pulp, because that would help the digestion. And also, I think often when people eat so fast, then they end up sitting, doing nothing, waiting for everybody to continue to eat. And they want to go get the second hand, but then they have to wait until the 2 bell. So you might as well take your time and enjoy the food. And that's what's important. So I share with you the importance of having always mindfulness concentrated inside to bring the body and together through the conscious breath. And also to practice walking meditation, sitting meditation, eating meditation, walking meditation, Dharma sharing, and also to listen to the sound of the bell, and to be aware to practice noble silence, and to have a deep looking and stopping and deep looking. And that is basically the basic practice of Plum Village. But we emphasize it's not to intellectual learning. It's the basic thing what we need to know, but you have to practice while you're learning. Because, for example, you can read about 10 books on playing tennis, but until you get the racket and you play, then you can find along the way how to learn how to play tennis. The same thing, you can read 20 books about swimming, but if you don't get in the water, you can paddle, you're not going to learn how to swim. So the practice of mindfulness is like that. And we have many people who attend the retreat before. All you need just to follow and see the people around you, and we can practice. And last but not least is to smile, to enjoy being here, to enjoy in the presence of each other, to support our practice. Thank you. Okay. So we can listen to 3 sound the bell.